GBTV is brought to you by Grand Blanc CTE.
Black History Month. Some wonder why is it important to have a whole month dedicated to it. Well, in most school systems in America, African American history isn't taught, not nearly enough. And when it is, they tend to be on the same topics about oppression of black people and not about our black excellence.
There is way more to our story than just the slavery and discrimination era. We are inventors, activists, scientists, politicians, entrepreneurs, and so much more.
Hi, I'm Imani.
And I'm Sean.
And we're here to take you on this Black excellence journey.
First, we'll start here locally at Bedrock Apparel in downtown Flint. This clothing line is black-owned by Jason Trice. He started this internationally known brand after returning home to Flint to care for his mother. He wanted a way to channel his creativity and innovativeness. In 2018, Gabrielle Union, famous and award-winning black actor, and her husband, NBA All-Star Dwayne Wade, will give him a public endorsement that launched many more from the NBA, NFL, and other celebrities. Jason Trice has used his publicity to encourage the people of his hometown to vote to be the change they need in their community.
Next, we will have William Hastie, who was a successful lawyer and politician in the first half of the 20th century. He became the first black governor of a U.S. state or territory to serve a full term, and he later became the highest-ranking black judge in U.S. history, surpassing Thurgood Marshall. Hastie argued for integrated military units, and he also fought for integrated schools as a judge.
While Thomas Edison is rightfully famed for the invention of the light bulb, its real potential was realized by a black inventor named Lewis Latimer. Edison's original light bulbs lasted only a few days, making them incredibly expensive. Latimer developed a filament system that made them last longer and cost less to produce.
Before Spike Lee or Tyler Perry, there was Oscar Micheaux. He wrote and directed over 40 films between 1919 and 1948. While many of his films have been lost and not widely discussed at the time of their release due to fear, Micheaux is now regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of the silent era. His films often feature controversial topics like mixed-race romance, white villains, and intelligent black heroes.
We all know the story of Rosa Parks on the bus. However, it was originally a teenage girl named Claudette Colvin who was the first arrested for refusing to give up her seat to a white person. At only 15, she maintained her place and was handcuffed. She and 3 other girls went on to challenge Alabama's segregation laws in court. Although the Alabama NAACP felt that an adult woman, Rosa Parks, would be a more sympathetic public figure for the national attention the movement soon gained. But Claudette Colvin paved the way.
And currently, history is being made by Dr. Kismika Corbett, who is the lead scientist on the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine team.
I love you, Poppy. Phew, that was a lot of black excellence, and there's much more where that came from.
Yeah, we don't have to keep learning about the same black history leaders every year, like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, or Fred Douglass.
And we merit much more than some short, fun facts on the announcements once a week and a non-mandatory separate history class. Black history is a large part of American history.
Well, I hope you enjoyed these black history facts and this trip down memory lane. See you next week.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to welcome you all back to Kind of the Mind with me, Zaleen. It's been more than 3 weeks, it's been 4 weeks, but we're getting right into it. This week's topic is grief. Now, grief, I think, takes many different forms and is different for every single person. Grief is definitely something you experience when you lose a loved one or someone passes away in your life. But I think you can also grieve things that you have to let go. For example, right now with everything with COVID-19, we're having to grieve our past normal lives, whatever those look like, whether you're grieving maybe a sport you used to play or friends you used to see or just the normal schedule that you used to have. I think we're all grieving right now, and that's why I picked grief as a topic for this week, because I don't think a lot of people see it as a mental health disorder, but it is. Let's get into Song of the Week this week. This week I chose Gone Too Soon by Simple Plan. I had a lot of different songs that I wanted to put out here for Song of the Week this week, actually. Honorable mentions go to Joanne by Lady Gaga and Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day. But this specific song actually helped me grieve someone that I lost about a month ago. With Wake Me Up When September Ends, that specifies his dad's death, and Joanne just specifies a girl's death. But this song can be for anybody. It can be for a friend, it can be for a family member, it can be for a coworker. It let me see things in a more positive way, and it acknowledged the fact that that person's gone and that I feel sad and I feel maybe alone or confused or angry at the world, but it also acknowledged that that person was light and that that person will still be here. When people pass away, they don't just leave us. They're always in our hearts and our minds and our memories, and this song really highlights that. I really hope that the song helps you guys out and you guys give it a listen. Now let's get into Facts with Kelly.
Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Fieldstone Counseling. Hope all of you are adjusting to being back at school face to face, and I'm looking forward to talking to you today about grief.
Our first question for Kelly is, what is grief, or the 5 stages, and is it the same for everyone?
At some point in everyone's life, there will be at least one encounter, if not more, with grief. It can be from the death of a loved one, loss of job, end of a relationship, or any other change that alters life as you know it. It's just so important to remember that grief is very personal. It's not neat and linear, and it doesn't follow any timelines or schedules, and everyone grieves very differently. Author Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who's known and pioneered about grief stages, says that grief can be divided into 5 stages. The first being denial, second anger, third bargaining, fourth depression, till finally we reach the last one of acceptance. It's not uncommon to stay in one stage longer and even move in and out of the stages during the grieving process.
The second question is, will I ever be happy again?
When you're in the grieving process, it can feel as if it will never, ever, ever get to the acceptance stage. But I promise you will. You will learn to create a new normal and find ways to mourn and celebrate your loss, but also start to gradually find happiness once again.
Question 3. How can I support someone who's grieving while I'm grieving too?
Support simply can be by just being in their company. In the beginning, we often go through the first stage numb and in disbelief, and I always find that a few weeks after the support is typically move on is always a good time to connect with the person who is grieving. Sometimes it can just be a card or dinner or letting them know that you're thinking of them.
Our last question for Kelly today is, what are good things to say to someone who's grieving?
I find that some of the best things to say to someone in grief are things like, I'm sorry for your loss, or sharing of a memory, or telling someone that you're in my thoughts, I'm always here, or just say nothing and just be with the person. But I also think it's important to know maybe some things not to say, are things like, they're in a better place now, or there's a reason for everything, or I know how you feel, be strong, or maybe this was their time. Just remember, grief can be a very lonely experience, and sometimes can feel like you're on an island and nobody understands, but it's also such a good thing to be able to reach out to people that are part of your support system, and it's okay to ask for help and need extra love and comfort during that time.
And that's all with Facts with Kelly today. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us. All right, to close out the show, I'm going to share my own personal experience with grief that I mentioned earlier in the show. I was a little hesitant on whether I wanted to talk about it, but I think maybe my experience or my thoughts can help some of you, hopefully. So about a month ago, maybe a little over a month, I lost my uncle due to COVID-19. I think it's hard to understand why people leave here, especially with COVID. I think it's really hard to understand a COVID death. left just because, one, it's so sudden, two, you don't get to say goodbye. The third thing that's probably the hardest thing about this is that we have no control over any of it, and we're left here to just move on with it, and that's really hard. The thing I have to keep telling myself, and that I want to tell all of you, is that they did leave and they are gone, and we may not think the reason's good enough, but there's a reason, and they're still a part of us. Think about it, we still have them in our hearts and in our minds. We can always picture them, and just that idea of their presence and the memories. The memories don't just go away. Yeah, it's not the same as them actually being here and creating more, but they're there. They're gonna be able to help us in a way which they couldn't if they were here with us. Maybe some of you don't get that and don't agree with that, but just know that grieving is hard for anyone. Grieving is a process, but if we talk to each other and that we're there for each other, I think it's gonna be a lot easier to get through. Before I end this video, I'm going to leave a link and some titles and information to a support group that a classmate told me about. The support group deals with grief, and I think this could help a lot of you because there's gonna be a lot of like-minded people there who understand you and are going through the same things you are. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and remember to stay kind to the mind. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Starting March 8th, on Mondays, if your last name is A through K, you will attend in-person classes, hours 1 through 3, and after school you'll be doing live remote classes for hours 4 through 6. L through Z only has class for 4 through 6 online. On Tuesdays, A through K will have online live remote classes for only classes 4 through 6. L through Z will be in person for classes 1 through 3, and will have remote online classes for 4 through 6.
On Wednesdays, A through K does classes 1 through 3 in person and classes 4 through 6 online.
L through Z only has class for 4 through 6 online. On Thursdays, A through K will only be doing their live remote online classes for classes 4 through 6, and L through Z will have in-person classes for hours 1 through 3 and live remote for 4 through 6 online. On Fridays, all students will have online remote classes for hours 1 through 6. The next week it will be the same, except in-person classes will be 4 through 6 and online remote will be 1 through 3.
Hey everybody, welcome to Common Threads. There's a lot of stuff here to look through and a lot of things to choose from. It's here for you if you need it. There's a lot of men's dress shirts, t-shirts, casual wear. There's women's prom dresses, dance dresses, pants for work attire. There's full suits, there's shoes in the back, there's hygiene products. There are coats for staying warm in the winter. There's hats, gloves, just anything you could really need, scarves, bags if you want one. There are even things in here with the tags on them, so if you need it, we really encourage you to come through and take a look.
I'm Mrs. Moore. I'm a secretary here at West Campus, and I wanted to introduce you to Common Threads, the clothes closet over here in the library at West. A lot of kids don't know about this. A lot of kids don't know what's here for them. And I think it's a great opportunity to let you guys know what's here in case you need something. It's a very private and secure place. There's no stigma. If you need help, we're here to help you. That's what we're here to do. And I don't want people to feel bad about wanting to come in here or needing to come in here to get some things. We have toiletries and shampoos and conditioners and clothes and suits for guys if you're going on a job interview, and dress clothes for the girls if you need something like that.
And if there's anything that you're in need of that you can't find inside the store right now, be sure to just leave a suggestion in the suggestion box, and they'll try to update the store.
Just feel free to come down if you're in need. You need any of this stuff. Just come down. Don't feel embarrassed. It's kind of tucked away. We got dressing rooms over there, so it's secluded. You got everything you need in here. So just come down if you need something.
All you have to do is come to the West Campus office and see me, and we'll come down here and I'll just leave you alone and you can do what you need to do. If you need any help, all you have to do is ask. That's what we're here for.